When the phone vibrated on the coffee table, I was staring blankly at the television. Some variety show was playing on the screen. Laughter came in waves. I did not hear a single bit of it. The living room was quiet. Only the television and the sound of running water from the bathroom remained. Serena Sue was taking a shower. Her phone had been left on the sofa. I had not planned to look at it. But when the notification popped up, my peripheral vision caught 2 words. Miss you. My hand moved faster than my brain. By the time I reacted, the phone was already in my hand. The screen was still lit. The WeChat notification line read, "Baby, I missed you today. Same place tomorrow?" Contact name, Evan Chen. Evan Chen. Serena's secretary. The young man who smiled every time he saw me and called me, Shen, my brother. I stared at that line for about 10 seconds. My first reaction was, this has to be fake. Maybe it was a coworker joking around. Maybe he sent it to the wrong person. Then the second message popped up. The hotel from last time. Don't leave right after your shower. I ordered late night food. Hotel. Shower. Late night food. Those 3 words were like 3 nails, hammered one by one into my temple. My hand started shaking. The phone almost slipped out of my grip. I heard my own heartbeat. Thud. 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 It drowned out the laughter on TV. The water in the bathroom stopped. By reflex, I flipped the phone over and placed it face down on the coffee table. The movement was too fast. My finger hit the edge of the table, and pain made me suck in a breath. Mason? Serena's voice came from the bathroom, damp with steam. Yeah. My voice was hoarse. I cleared my throat and added, I'm here. Can you bring me my pajamas? I forgot them. I stood. My legs felt weak. I walked into the bedroom and opened the closet. Her pajamas hung on the far right. Silk. I had bought them for her last month. More than 3,000 yuan. She said they were too expensive. I said she looked beautiful in them. I carried them to the bathroom door. The door opened a crack. Her wet hand reached out. Thank you, honey. Her voice was sweet. Just like 5 years ago. I smiled faintly. I said nothing. Back in the living room, I sat down. Her phone was still face down on the coffee table. I stared at it like it was a bomb with a timer. Reason told me not to look again. If I kept looking, would not sleep tonight. But my hand still reached out. Unlock. I knew the password. Her birthday. Open WeChat. The top pin chat was me. Note, husband. The second was Evan Chen. Note, Secretary Chen. I tapped in and scrolled up. There were not many messages. But every single one was enough for me to digest for days. Baby, wear that black dress today. I like it. Stop it. There are so many people at the company. That's what makes it exciting. Aren't you afraid Mason will find out? Him? He spends all day at home writing songs. What can he find out? True. Useless man. Useless man. I stared at those words for a long time. It felt like someone stuffed cotton into my chest. I could not breathe. I took a deep breath and kept scrolling. Then I found something even more suffocating. A voice message. I tapped it, lowered the volume to minimum, and pressed the phone to my ear. Serena's voice. Evan, did you listen to the demo for Night Voyage? What do you think? Evan, it's good. You wrote it? Serena laughed softly. Mason wrote it. 3 years ago. He never released it. Evan, so what are you planning? Serena, I plan to use it. The company needs a breakout song for financing. This one is enough. Evan, will he agree? Serena, whether he agrees doesn't matter. The copyright isn't under his name anyway. The voice message ended. I gripped the phone. The veins on the back of my hand bulged. Night Voyage. That was a song I wrote 3 years ago. I wrote it for a month. Revised it more than 10 times. The day I recorded the demo, Serena listened in the living room and said it was good. She asked how I planned to release it. I said I had not decided. I wanted to revise it a little more. After that, nothing happened. I thought she had forgotten. So she had not forgotten. She had only given my song to her lover. The bathroom door opened. Serena walked out in that silk pajama dress. Her hair was wet. Her cheeks still held that steam-flushed redness. She looked at me and froze slightly. Why does your face look so bad? I looked up at her. Under the light, she was still beautiful. Fair skin. Bright eyes. Two shallow dimples when she smiled. 5 years ago, when I chased her, I thought she was the most beautiful woman in the world. Now, she still looked beautiful. But something was different. Nothing, I said. I'm a little hungry. Then go cook some noodles. She walked to the sofa, picked up her phone, glanced at it, and showed no change in expression. I ordered takeout earlier. It should arrive soon. Okay. I stood and walked toward the kitchen. After 2 steps, I stopped. Serena. Have you been busy with work lately? She did not lift her head. Her fingers slid across the screen. Not bad. Financing is a little annoying. What about that song? Her finger paused. She looked up at me, and a flash of alertness crossed her eyes. What song? Night Voyage. I said, the one I wrote 3 years ago. Didn't you say it was good? Should we release it? She stared at me for a few seconds. Then smiled. That smile was natural. Gentle. Exactly the same as always. Forget it. That song still needs work. We'll talk after you finish revising it. Okay. I walked into the kitchen and opened the fridge. I took out 2 eggs. My hands were still shaking. It took me 3 tries to crack the eggs. Pieces of shell fell into the bowl. I reached in to pick them out, and the shell cut my finger. Blood seeped out. I stared at the thin line of blood and suddenly found it funny. 5 years of marriage. 5 years of writing songs. Every song I wrote, she was the first to hear. The first to praise. The first to say, it's good. I thought she truly liked them. Turns out, she only thought they were useful. I turned on the faucet, rinsed the blood off my hand, and put noodles into the pot. Water boiled. The noodles rolled inside white foam. I stared at it, and only one thought remained in my mind. Who exactly owned the copyright to that song? I lowered the heat, wiped my hands, and took out my phone. Search, music copyright registration process. The page loaded. I read line by line. Registration required a sample of the work, a creation explanation, and proof of copyright ownership. If it had already been registered, I needed to check the registration information first. I left the kitchen, entered the study, and closed the door. I opened my computer and logged into the National Copyright Office website. I entered, Night Voyage. Click Search. The page loaded for 3 seconds. The result appeared. Work title, Night Voyage. Copyright owner, Serena Sue. Registration date, 3 months ago. I stared at that name for a long time. The cold light from the computer screen shone on my face. The study was quiet. Only the computer fan hummed. I heard my own breathing. Heavy. One breath after another. 3 months ago. She had registered my song under her name 3 months ago. At that time, we were still discussing whether to move to a bigger apartment. She said she wanted a larger place. I said okay. I would take more work. She said, don't make yourself too tired. I said, it's worth it for you. Worth it. I leaned back in my chair and stared at the ceiling. A water stain was still there. The upstairs apartment had leaked last year. I told Serena we should ask property management to fix it. She said forget it. It did not affect daily life anyway. So we never fixed it. Just like many things. Forget it. It does not matter. I sat straight again and reopened the search page. Copyright dispute process. Evidence value for adultery. Divorce asset division and copyright ownership. I read one article after another. One word at a time, I carved it into my mind. Outside the study, Serena called, Mason? Are the noodles ready? The takeout arrived. Coming. I closed the web page, cleared my throat, and stood. At the door, I looked back at the computer. On the desktop was a folder named, My Songs. Inside were more than 30 demos. Every one was written by me. Every one had been heard by her. I closed the door and returned to the living room. Serena sat at the dining table. She had already opened the takeout boxes. She looked up and smiled. Hurry. It won't taste good cold. I sat, picked up chopsticks. Serena. What do you think of my songwriting? She paused. Then smiled. Pretty good. Why? Nothing. I picked up a bite of noodles. Just asking. She lowered her head and ate. She said nothing more. I looked at her. The light shone on her face. She was still beautiful. But suddenly, I felt like I had never known her at all. The next morning, I sat in the reception room of a law firm. The coffee machine hissed in the corner. I stared blankly at my cup. There was a crack on the side. Coffee seeped through and left a brown trace on the white table. Mason? I looked up. Ryan Zhou stood at the door holding a folder, smiling at me. Long time no see. Long time no see. He was my college roommate. After graduation, he passed the bar and opened a small law firm. The last time we met was 2 years ago. I had treated him to dinner. Serena had been there too. You were unclear on the phone. He closed the door and sat opposite me. What happened? I did not waste words. I took out my phone, opened the recording, and placed it on the table. Listen first. Ryan looked at me, put on earphones, and played it. Serena's voice leaked faintly from the earphones. Evan, did you listen to the demo for Night Voyage? Mason wrote it, the copyright isn't under his name anyway. Ryan's expression did not change. But his fingers tapped twice on the table. When the recording ended, he removed the earphones. Whose song? Mine. She registered it under her own name? 3 months ago. Ryan leaned back and stared at me for a few seconds. You sure? I checked the Copyright Office website. I handed him my phone. The screenshot is here. He took it, zoomed in, looked carefully, then returned it. Okay. He opened his folder and took out a pen. What evidence do you have now? The handwritten drafts from 3 years ago. Demo recording timestamps on my phone. And screenshots of her chat with Evan. Does the chat mention the song? Yes. I opened the album and found the screenshot. She said, Mason wrote it. Evan asked what she planned to do, and she said, I plan to use it. Ryan took the phone and read it. Then he nodded. Enough. Enough for what? Enough to prove the song was written by you. He returned the phone. Where are the drafts? At home. Are the dates clear? Clear. Every page has dates from 3 years ago. Good. Ryan wrote several lines in his notebook. Go back today and back up the drafts and recordings for me. I'll help you file a copyright objection. Can we get it back? He looked up and smiled. You wrote the song. The copyright is yours. Not even the King of Heaven can take it away. I froze. Really? Really? He capped the pen. But there is one issue. What issue? You two are married. If she insists it was created jointly after marriage, things get trickier. So, he looked at me. You need to prove the song was written before the marriage, or at least that she took it independently without your consent. The drafts have dates. Not enough. Ryan shook his head. Drafts only prove you wrote something. They do not prove she did not participate. You need the creation record from that time. Emails, WeChat messages, cloud backups, anything that proves you completed the song alone. I thought for a moment. I have it. What? 3 years ago, I sent her a WeChat message. I wrote, new song is finished. Listen to it. She replied, sounds good. Ryan's eyes lit up. Is the chat still there? Should be. I never deleted our chat history. Good. He stood. Now go back. First, back up the drafts and recordings to me. Second, find that WeChat message and screenshot it. Third, he paused. Third, don't let her know you are investigating. I stood and nodded. Thanks. Don't thank me. Ryan patted my shoulder. After we win, buy me dinner. After leaving the law firm, I stood by the road and smoked a cigarette. The sunlight was good. People came and went. A girl walked past holding a golden retriever's leash. The dog wagged its tail happily. I stared at it for a few seconds and suddenly wanted to laugh. I was worse than a dog. At least a dog knew who treated it well. I crushed the cigarette and stopped a cab. When I got home, Serena had already left. The living room was very clean. The takeout boxes on the coffee table had been thrown away. A note was left on the dining table. I went to the company. There is porridge in the fridge. Heat it before eating. The handwriting was neat. The tone gentle. Exactly the same as usual. I picked up the note, looked at it, folded it, and put it into my pocket. Then I entered the bedroom and closed the door. At the bottom of the closet, an old backpack was pressed under other things. I crouched and pulled it out. The zipper jammed. I pulled hard. It burst open. Things scattered all over the floor. Notebooks. Printed lyrics. USB drives. Several dried-out pens. I picked up the notebook. Blue cover. The corners had gone white from wear. I opened the first page. The date was written from the summer 3 years ago. That page was filled with lyrics. The first draft of Night Voyage. I read it word by word. My hands began to shake. Not from anger. From excitement. Because every page had a date. Every page had revision marks. Some parts were circled in red pen. Beside them were notes: this doesn't work. Change chord. Revise chorus again. I turned to the final page. The date was 3 months ago. One line was written: finished revising. Play it for her. I stared at that line for a long time. 3 months ago, I was still revising the song. 3 months ago, she was already registering the copyright. I closed the notebook, took out my phone, and photographed every page. Then I opened WeChat and searched the chat record from 3 years ago. I scrolled for a long time. Finally, I found it. New song is finished. Listen to it. She replied, sounds good. Only 2 words. Not, we wrote it together. Not, I helped. Only, sounds good. I screenshotted it and saved it to an encrypted folder. Then I placed the notebook, USB drives, and printed lyrics into a file bag and put them in my backpack. After finishing all of that, I sat on the bed and exhaled. My heartbeat was fast. My palms were covered in sweat. But I was not afraid. Because the evidence was all there. At 3 in the afternoon, Serena came home. When she pushed the door open, I was sitting on the living room sofa. The TV was on, playing an old movie. You didn't go out today? She changed shoes and hung her bag on the rack. No, writing songs? A little. She walked over, sat beside me, and leaned against my shoulder. So tired. 3 meetings today. I did not move. How is the financing? Fine. Some progress. She rubbed her temples. Oh, next week there's a music festival. The organizer invited our company to exhibit. I want to bring a few songs. Which songs? Night Voyage counts as one. My heart missed a beat. Night Voyage still isn't finished, right? Almost. She sat up and looked at me. I think it can be released. What about copyright? She froze. What copyright? Copyright registration. I looked at her. Did you register it? Her eyes flickered. Then she smiled. Not yet. Why? Nothing. I smiled too. Just asking. She stared at me for several seconds. Then stood. I'm going to shower. Okay. She entered the bathroom and closed the door. I sat on the sofa listening to the sound of water. My phone vibrated. Ryan, did you take photos of the drafts? I replied, yes. Send them to me. Okay. I sent over the photos one by one. After sending the last one, I turned off the phone and leaned back. The water stopped. Serena came out wearing that silk pajama dress. Her hair was wet. Mason. You're acting strange today. Am I? Yes. She stood before me. Are you hiding something from me? I looked up at her. The light fell on her face. She was still beautiful. But I was no longer afraid. No, I said, what could I possibly hide from you? She stared at me for a few seconds. Then smiled. Good. She turned into the bedroom. I sat on the sofa, listening to the hair dryer buzzing inside. My phone vibrated again. Ryan, received. I'll go to the copyright office tomorrow to pull the file. I'll update you. I replied, okay. Then I turned off the phone and walked to the window. Outside, the sky was dark. Streetlights were on. People came and went below. I stared at those lights for a long time. Then I smiled. Because I knew I could win this fight. The next morning, I woke early. The sky had not fully brightened. A gray-white strip of light entered through the curtain. Serena was still asleep, lying on her side, breathing softly. I stared at the back of her head for a few seconds. Then quietly got out of bed. The moment I closed the study door, I exhaled. I turned on the computer, created a new folder, and named it, New Song. Then I took out my phone and looked at Ryan's message from last night. I'll go to the copyright office tomorrow. I'll update you. I replied with an okay, then opened a recording app. Writing songs was too familiar to me. Over the past 5 years, I had written more than 30 demos. Every song started from zero. Sometimes, a melody came first. Sometimes, a lyric jumped out first. The craziest time, I got up at 3 in the morning to record a guitar line. The next day, Serena asked if I had a nightmare. I said no. Inspiration came. She said, oh, turned over, and kept sleeping. I sat at the desk, picked up a pen, and wrote 2 words on the paper. The way home. This was a rule I set for myself. The new song could not connect to any song from the past. Since Night Voyage had been taken by her, I would write one she had never heard. And I would write it better than Night Voyage. Much better. So good that when she heard it, she would know the song she stole was nothing. I hummed a melody. Wrong. Crossed it out. Hummed again. Still wrong. On the 3rd try, I found the feeling. Like someone standing on a train platform at night, waiting for a train. Cold wind blows over. He zips his jacket to the very top. That was the tone. I picked up my harmonica and played it once. The harmonica was something I learned in college. A cheap brand. Only a few dozen yuan. I had played it for more than 10 years. The reeds had been replaced 3 times. The mouthpiece was polished shiny from use. I played once. Wiped the mouthpiece with my sleeve. Played again. On the 3rd time, I added a key change in the chorus. Good. I recorded it with my phone. After recording, I listened once. Then recorded again. After listening 5 times and confirming it worked, I saved it into the folder. Then I started writing lyrics. For me, lyrics were harder than melody. Melody was feeling. Lyrics were expression. Sometimes the feeling arrived, but I could not express it. That frustration made me pull my hair. But today was different. Today, I had too much to say. You said the way home is the road back. I said the way home is forgetting where I came from. When I wrote it, even I froze slightly. Then I continued. When I reached the chorus, I stopped. The chorus needed an explosion. A sentence people would remember. I stared at the paper for 5 minutes. The pen tip hovered above it, ink spreading into a small dot. Then I wrote, I'm not afraid to walk the night alone. I'm only afraid that at the end, you won't be there. After writing that line, I put down the pen and leaned back. My heartbeat quickened. Not from excitement. Because I knew this song was done. Good songs are like that. The moment you write them, you know they are done. It is not self-moved delusion. It is the certainty that this is exactly how it should be. I picked up the harmonica and played the whole song. When I reached the chorus, I closed my eyes. The harmonica sound echoed through the study. The vibration of the metal ran into my fingers. Numb. Tingling. I finished the final note and opened my eyes. Outside, the sky had brightened. Sunlight entered through the curtain gap. It fell on the desk. On the paper filled with lyrics. I opened the National Copyright Office website. Registered an account. Filled in the information. Uploaded the work sample. I checked every step carefully before clicking next. Final step. Submit. The page jumped. A line appeared, your work registration application has been submitted. Registration number, 2024 X times X times X times X times X. Estimated review period, 13 working days. I stared at that line for 10 seconds. Then smiled. Not a proud smile. A relieved one. Because from now on, this song was mine. No one could take it. My phone vibrated. Ryan, the file result is out. Night Voyage's registration confirms she is listed as the only owner. Your name is not there. I have submitted the copyright objection. We should have results next week. I replied, okay. Ryan, how about your side? Me, new song finished. Just submitted copyright registration. Ryan, that fast? Me, I held it in for 5 years. Ryan sent a thumbs up emoji. Good. Keep steady. What about the music festival? Me, the organizer is still waiting for demos. I plan to send mine today. Ryan, let me see it before you send. Don't let Serena know. Me, understood. I turned off the phone, organized the lyrics and recording into one file, and prepared to send it to the music festival organizer. Ryan had helped me find this festival. He said a friend worked in song selection for the organizer and could submit my demo. At first, I hesitated. Because on the day of the festival, Serena would also be there with her company as an exhibitor. Ryan said, "What are you afraid of? You sing your song. She exhibits her company. No conflict." I said, "I'm not afraid. I just think what? I think she should hear it. Ryan was silent for 2 seconds. Then let her hear it. I opened email, uploaded the demo, and wrote the subject, The Way Home Demo Mason Shen. Send. The moment the email went out, I leaned back and let out a long breath. Then I heard footsteps in the living room. Serena's voice, Mason? Are you in the study? I closed the web page and cleared my throat. Yes. She pushed the door open. She wore pajamas, hair messy, still carrying sleepiness on her face. She glanced at the scattered papers and harmonica on the desk, then frowned. You were writing songs this early? What did you write? A new song. She walked over, wanting to look at the paper on my desk. I smoothly flipped it over. She froze. What's wrong? Not finished yet, I said. I'll let you hear it when it's done. She stared at me for a few seconds. Then smiled. Fine. Take your time. I'll make breakfast. She turned and left the study. I watched her go. Then looked down at the paper turned face down. On it were the lyrics of The Way Home. And that chorus line, I'm not afraid to walk the night alone. I'm only afraid that at the end, you won't be there. I picked up the harmonica and played the chorus once. After finishing, I heard Serena call from the kitchen, Mason, do you want fried eggs or boiled eggs? Fried. Okay. I put down the harmonica and walked to the study door. Serena stood in the kitchen with her back to me, cracking eggs. She wore that silk pajama dress. Her hair was clipped up, revealing her fair neck. I had watched this scene for 5 years. Before, I thought it was warm. Now, it felt ironic. Because while cracking eggs, she was humming a melody. I knew that melody too well. It was the chorus of Night Voyage. I stood at the study door, watching her hum the stolen song while making breakfast for me. At that moment, there was no anger inside me. Only a strange calm. Like a person finally realizing exactly where he was standing. I sat at the dining table and sent Ryan a message, confirmed the music festival schedule for me. Ryan replied instantly, next Saturday. 3 p.m. Your fifth. Me, what about Serena's company? Ryan, her company is an exhibitor, not performing. But she'll be there. Me, good. Ryan, what are you planning? Me, let her hear my new song. Ryan, that's it? Me, that's it. Ryan sent a speechless emoji. You're ruthless. I smiled and turned off the phone. Serena brought fried eggs over and placed them before me. Eat. I picked up my chopsticks and took a bite. Good. She smiled. Of course. How could my fried eggs not be good? I lowered my head and kept eating. She sat opposite me, picked up her phone, and swiped. Then her expression suddenly changed. Mason. Have you had something going on lately? I looked up. What do you mean? She stared at me, her eyes a little strange. I saw a folder on your computer called New Song. Yeah. What about it? When did you start writing a new song? Yesterday. Yesterday? Yes. She put down her phone and looked at me. Weren't you still revising Night Voyage? Finished. I said, after finishing it, I wrote something new. She stared for a few seconds. Then smiled. Fine. Write it. Let me hear it when it's done. Okay. She stood, carried the empty plate into the kitchen. I sat at the table and watched her wash dishes. That line sounded normal. But I knew she was testing me. Because Night Voyage had already been registered under her name. She thought I was still revising that song. She thought I knew nothing. But now I had written a new song. She did not know what I was writing. Nor why. So she panicked. I stood and walked to the study. Before closing the door, I looked back at her. She was still washing dishes. But her movements had clearly slowed. She was thinking. Thinking about what I was doing. I closed the door, opened the computer, and checked my email. The organizer had replied. Demo received. Very good. Your performance is confirmed for next Saturday at 3 p.m. Duration, 15 minutes. Backing track allowed. I replied, received. Thank you. Then I opened the folder named New Song and looked at the recording file. The Way Home. My song. My song alone. I picked up the harmonica and played the chorus again. This time, I played better than before. Because I knew next Saturday, this song would ring out at the music festival. And Serena would hear it. She would hear the song I wrote. Not the one she stole. This new one. She would hear me sing, I'm not afraid to walk the night alone. I'm only afraid that at the end, you won't be there. Then she would know. I had already reached the end. And she was not there. I put down the harmonica and sent Ryan a message. Next Saturday, help me record a video. Ryan, record what? Me, record her face when she hears this song. Ryan was silent for a few seconds. Then he replied with one word. Okay. When Serena pushed the check toward me, I suddenly thought she was rather pitiful. She thought everything could be bought with money. That check lay on the coffee table. New. Smooth. Like a blade that had not yet been sharpened. The number on it was clear. 500,000. Sign this agreement. She said, Night Voyage's copyright belongs to me. From now on, any songs you write will be given first priority to my company. 500,000 is enough for you to write songs for 10 years. I did not touch the check. I stared at her for a few seconds. She sat opposite me on the sofa. White blouse. Hair tied back. Delicate makeup. She looked like she was negotiating a serious business deal. Serena, I said. That song was written by me. I know. She smiled naturally. That's why I'm giving you money. I'm not taking it for free. You registered the copyright under your name 3 months ago. Her smile stiffened for 1 second. Then recovered. You checked? I checked. She leaned back, crossed her legs, and looked at me. I knew that look too well. She was evaluating the situation. Fine. She said, since you already know, I won't hide it. The company needs a hit song for financing. Night Voyage is good enough. You've written songs for so many years and barely released anything. Leaving it there is waste. It's better to let me use it. That song was written by me. So what if you wrote it? Her voice suddenly turned cold. Can your songwriting feed you? If I hadn't supported you for 5 years, you would have starved. Of the 30+ demos you wrote, which one sold? Which one earned you even $1? Every sentence was a nail. Hammered into my chest. I heard my own heartbeat. Thud. 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 Especially loud in the quiet living room. So you steal? Steal? She laughed, full of disdain. Mason Shen, get this straight. We are husband and wife. Your songs are my songs. What's wrong with registering them under my name? It's not like I'm refusing to pay you. That is plagiarism. Call it whatever you want. She stood and walked before me, looking down. 500,000. Sign it. After this, I'll help release your songs. When they make money, I'll give you 30%. If you don't sign, she paused. If you don't sign, you get nothing. The copyright is under my name. You want to sue me? Do you have evidence? I looked at her. The light shone on her face. She was still beautiful. But that face suddenly felt so unfamiliar. I do. She froze. What do you have? Evidence. I said, handwritten drafts from 3 years ago, with dates on every page. Demo recording timestamps on my phone. And your chat with Evan. You said, Mason wrote it. Then asked what you planned to do. Her face changed. You went through my phone. You went through my song first. She stared at me, lips pressed into a line. Her fingers gripped the check so hard the paper wrinkled. Mason. Her voice lowered. Don't force me. I force you? You think you can win in court? She stepped closer. Perfume drifted over. I am your wife. I can say those songs were written by both of us. Who will the court believe? A useless man who writes songs full-time? Or a company president? Useless. That word again. I laughed softly. What are you laughing at? At how pitiful you are. I said, Serena, stealing my song is one thing. But you still think you're justified. Even when you steal, you need an excuse. We are husband and wife. Don't you find that disgusting? She raised her hand and slapped me. I did not dodge. The slap landed on my left cheek. A sharp sound echoed through the living room. Burning pain spread from my cheek to my ear. I touched my face and looked at her still shaking hand. Done hitting? She did not speak. If you're done, sit down. I said, let's talk properly. She did not sit. She stood before me, chest rising and falling. Her eyes were a little red. From anger or grievance, I could not tell. Mason. Her voice was hoarse. How will you live without me? You have no job. No income. Not even a decent released work. What can you do out there? Write songs. Can songwriting make money? Yes. Have you ever written a song that made money? I looked into her eyes. Next week, I will. She froze. What do you mean? The music festival. I said, I signed up. The demo has already been sent. Her face changed completely. What music festival? The one your company is exhibiting at. Are you insane? Her voice suddenly rose. Mason Shen, what are you trying to do? Sing my own song. She opened her mouth but could not speak. She stared at me like she was looking at a stranger. You cannot go. Why? Because, she bit her lip. Because that is my company's booth. What will people think if you go up and sing? It is a music festival. I said, anyone can sign up. The organizer chose me, so I'll go. I will make them remove you. Try. She took out her phone and swiped several times. I watched her without stopping. She made a call and put it on speaker. Hello, Mr. Lee. This is Serena Su. I want to ask about the performance list for your music festival. There is someone named Mason Shen, a male voice came through. Oh, Mason Shen. We listened to his demo. It's very good. What's wrong? She froze. Nothing. Just confirming. No problem. He is 5th on the list. Do you know him? I do. She glanced at me. He is my husband. The other end was silent for 2 seconds. That's great. Your husband is very talented. We all liked The Way Home. Why didn't you mention him earlier? Her fingers whitened around the phone. He didn't write in this style before. Tell him to prepare well. We are looking forward to his performance. The call ended. The living room was silent for 3 seconds. Serena looked at me. There was something in her eyes that I could not understand. Not anger. Not panic. It was unwillingness. The Way Home? She asked. New song. When did you write it? Yesterday. You wrote a song yesterday and dared send it to a music festival? I dared. She stared at me for a long time. Then she laughed. Coldly. Fine. Go sing. I want to hear what kind of good song you can write in one day. You will hear it. Mason. Are you sure you want to tear everything apart with me? I looked into her eyes. Serena. You tore it first. She said nothing. I stood and walked toward the study. At the door, I looked back. She was still standing in the living room, gripping the check. The paper was crushed and wrinkled. Keep the check. I said. I don't need it. You will regret this. Maybe. I closed the study door. Leaning against it, I let out a long breath. My heartbeat was still fast. My palms were sweaty. But I smiled. Because I knew I was going to win. My phone vibrated. I looked down. An email from the music festival organizer. Mr. Mason Shen, your demo The Way Home has passed final review. Please arrive next Saturday at 2 p.m. for rehearsal. Official performance at 3 p.m. Duration, 15 minutes. Backing track allowed. We look forward to your performance. I replied, received. Thank you. Then I opened the folder named New Song and looked at the recording file inside. The Way Home. My song. My song alone. I picked up the harmonica and played the chorus again. This time, I played even better. Because I knew next Saturday, this song would sound at the festival. Serena would hear it. Not the stolen song. This new one. She would hear me sing, I'm not afraid to walk the night alone. I'm only afraid that at the end, you won't be there. Then she would know. I had reached the end. And she was not there. I put down the harmonica and sent Ryan another message. Next Saturday, record a video for me. Ryan, record what? Me, her face when she hears this song. Ryan was silent for a few seconds. Then replied, okay. The blue light from the phone screen made my eyes sore. I sat in the study, staring at a post that had just appeared on a music forum. The post time was 3 a.m. The title read, Has anyone heard Night Voyage? I heard this song 3 years ago. My finger stopped on the screen and did not scroll. I knew who posted it. Not Ryan. He would never do something this crude. It was me. Using an alternate account I had registered at 2 in the morning. VPN on. The post contained only 3 lines. I heard this song in a demo 3 years ago. The author was not Serena Su. Go check the copyright registration date. Only 3 lines. No evidence. No screenshot. No recording. But it was enough. Because anyone who had truly heard Night Voyage would come forward. I scrolled down to the comments. First comment, poster, do you have evidence? Don't spread rumors without proof. Second, isn't Serena Sue in music? Her company is pretty big. She wouldn't plagiarize, right? Third, wait. I think I've heard this melody before last year at a musician's gathering, someone played it on guitar. Fourth, replying to the third, are you sure? Who played it? Fifth, a guy. Tall and thin. Wore glasses. He said it was his new song and hadn't been released yet. Sixth, what was his name? Seventh, forgot, I think his surname was Shen. I turned off the phone and leaned back. My heartbeat was a little fast. Not from nervousness. Because the effect was better than I expected. I thought it would take at least 2 days for people to notice. But it was only 7 in the morning. The post had been up for 4 hours, and there were already 47 comments. Someone was digging into Serena's company's copyright registration records. Someone was asking who organized that musicians gathering 3 years ago. Someone directly tagged the music festival's official account. City Music Festival, did you know the song from your exhibiting company has a copyright dispute? I stared at that tag and tapped my fingers twice on the desk. Then I stood and went to the kitchen for water. The living room was quiet. Serena had not come home last night. She said something came up at the company and she had to work overtime. I knew where she was. At Evan's place. I did not care anymore. After drinking, I returned to the study and opened the phone again. The post had turned red. The forum admin had added a hot tag. Comments, 83. Someone had posted a screenshot. The National Copyright Office query page. Night Voyage's registration date was 3 months ago. Another person replied, registered 3 months ago, but the poster says they heard it 3 years ago. Timeline doesn't match. Someone else replied, so either the poster remembered wrong, or this song really wasn't written by Serena. I put down the phone and opened my computer. I logged into the National Copyright Office site, entered Night Voyage's registration number, and took a screenshot. Then I opened another page. My cloud backup. 3 years ago, after recording the first demo version of Night Voyage, I uploaded it to the cloud. File properties clearly showed, creation time, September 17th, 3 years ago, 11:43 p.m. screenshot. 2 screenshots placed together. 1. Copyright registration date, 3 months ago. 1. Demo creation date, 3 years ago. I placed both into a folder. But I did not release them. Not yet. My phone vibrated. Ryan, I saw the post. You? Me, Ryan, ruthless. Did you leave yourself a backhand? Me, yes. Copyright registration screenshot and demo creation timestamp screenshot. Ryan, good. Don't release everything at once. Let them dig. Me, understood. Ryan, also, the music festival just called me. They said someone anonymously reported copyright issues with Night Voyage and asked if I knew anything. Me, what did you say? Ryan, I said I didn't know, but suggested they check. Me, what did they say? Ryan, they said they would. I closed the phone and reopened the post. Comments had passed 100. Someone posted an audio link. This is an audio file I saved in a music group 3 years ago. At that time, someone sent this melody and said they wrote it. Listen. Is it Night Voyage? I tapped the link. The audio loaded for 3 seconds. Then guitar sounds came out from the phone speaker. I froze. That melody was indeed the chorus of Night Voyage. But it was not my recording. It was another person's guitar and vocal take. The voice was young and a little hoarse. Rougher than mine. But the melody was exactly the same. I listened once. Then again. Then I called Ryan. Hello? Did you hear the audio in the post? Which one? The one someone saved from a music group 3 years ago. I just saw it. Haven't listened yet. What's wrong? That isn't my recording. The other end was silent for 2 seconds. What do you mean? That recording was not played by me. I said, it is another person. But the melody is exactly Night Voyage. You're sure? I wrote my own song. You think I can't tell? Ryan was silent for a while. Then this is interesting. If someone else played that melody 3 years ago, it means Serena was not the first person to steal this song. Or, Ryan lowered his voice. It means this song was never yours in the first place. My fingers went cold around the phone. What do you mean? Mason, listen calmly. Ryan's voice was steady. Are you certain this song was written by you? Of course. Then how do you explain someone else playing that melody 3 years ago? I don't know. When you wrote it, did you reference someone else's work? No. Is it possible you heard that melody, forgot about it, and subconsciously used it while writing? Impossible. I stopped. Because I suddenly remembered something. 3 years ago, before I wrote Night Voyage, Serena had played me a recording. She said it was written by a friend and asked if I thought it was good. I said it was good. The melody flowed well. She said she thought so too, but that friend did not plan to release it because he thought it was not good enough. 2 weeks later, I started writing Night Voyage. The chorus melody was somewhat similar to that recording. At the time, I did not care. Melodies crash all the time. There are only so many notes, only so many combinations. It is not strange for two melodies to resemble each other. But what if that recording was the same one in the post? What if the recording Serena played me back then was exactly this melody? What if from the start, she had been setting a trap? I held the phone, sweat forming in my palm. Mason? Are you still there? I'm here. What happened? Ryan. I may have made a mistake. What mistake? The chorus of Night Voyage may not have been written by me. What? 3 years ago, Serena played me a recording. She said it was written by a friend. I thought it sounded good and didn't think much. Later, when I wrote Night Voyage, the chorus melody was very similar to that recording. Are you sure it's the same? I'm not sure. But the audio in the post sounds very similar. Ryan was silent for a long time. Then he said, Mason, listen. Whether that melody was written by you or not, the most important thing now is this: you cannot let anyone know this. What do you mean? If that melody really wasn't written by you, Serena may have more evidence. She can prove in court that even the chorus of Night Voyage was copied by you. Then forget copyright ownership. The whole song becomes a problem. My heart sank. But I wrote the verse, arrangement, harmonies, bridge. The court looks at core melody. Ryan interrupted me. If the chorus is found to be copied, the copyright of the entire song becomes complicated. Do you understand? I understood. Too well. I sat before the desk and stared at the lyrics sheet for the way home. The ink was still fresh. The smell had not fully faded. I picked up the pen and wrote one word in the blank space. Trap. From the beginning, this was a trap. When Serena played me that recording, she had said it. She understood me too well. She knew that when I heard a good melody, it would remain in my mind. She knew that when I wrote, I might subconsciously borrow the pieces that impressed me most. She calculated everything. I took a deep breath and said to Ryan, what about the post? Someone already posted the audio link. I can't let people follow that trail. You're too late. Ryan's tone was heavy. I just refreshed it. Music bloggers have already started sharing that audio. Someone compared the chorus of Night Voyage with the recording and said similarity is over 80%. Damn. You have two choices. Ryan said, first, deny it immediately. Say that recording is yours. That it was a demo you recorded 3 years ago and someone leaked it. But that is risky. If someone produces the original file, with timestamp and metadata, you are exposed. And the second? Second, do nothing. Let the post sink naturally. Wait for the wave to pass. No, I said, the festival is this Saturday. If before then someone exposes Night Voyage's chorus as suspected plagiarism, Serena will definitely use it to pour dirty water on me. Ryan was silent for a few seconds. Then there is only one way. What? Move first. Ryan said, before anyone can expose you for plagiarism, strike first. Pull out the parts you wrote and turn them into a new song. The verse, bridge, arrangement, those are all original. As long as you remove the chorus and replace it with a new one, you are clean. I froze. You want me to rewrite Night Voyage? Not rewrite. Write a new song. Use Night Voyage's verse and bridge, but replace the chorus with something entirely new. That way in court, you can argue that you optimized and completed your own original work, and the truly original core parts belong to you. I stared at the lyrics sheet for a long time. Then I turned to a blank page in my notebook and wrote one line. White Knight. Fine. I said. I'll write it tonight. Tonight? Yes. Replace the chorus. Adjust the arrangement. Simple. I'll send you the demo tomorrow morning. Ryan laughed on the phone. Mason, you're insane. Insane or not? I said, we'll discuss after I win. I hung up, closed the study door, put the phone on silent, and threw it aside. Then I picked up the harmonica. A few notes. Wrong. A few more. Still wrong. I switched to guitar, played an E minor chord progression, hummed a melody. Too glitch. Crossed out. Time passed second by second. At 1 in the morning, I had thrown away 3 versions of the chorus. At 2, I had played 20 different chord progressions. At 3, I fell asleep on the desk for 10 minutes, got up, washed my face, and kept writing. At 4:17 a.m., I hummed a new melody. It circled twice in my mind. I jumped out of the chair, grabbed the guitar, and strummed a G chord. Then I smiled. This was it. I picked up the pen and wrote fast. You said white night is eternal daylight. I said white night is the ending pretending to go on. You said forget when morning comes. I said release it when night falls. Who is better at lying? After writing the final word, I threw the pen onto the desk and leaned back, letting out a long breath. Outside, dawn had already begun. I checked the time. 5:03 a.m. Then I checked notifications. Ryan had sent, "How is it?" I replied, "Done." Ryan immediately sent a thumbs up emoji. I sent him the recording file. Then I stood, walked to the window, and opened it. Early autumn wind rushed in. Cool. It made me much more awake. I looked at the white line growing on the horizon and took a deep breath. Serena had calculated against me. From the very beginning. But she miscalculated one thing. I could write better than she imagined. I turned off the computer and left the study. The living room was quiet. Serena had not returned. On the coffee table, the check was still there. Wrinkled. Untouched. I picked it up and looked at it for a few seconds. Then tore it apart. When the pieces fell into the trash, I suddenly felt light. 5 years. For the first time, I felt this living room belonged to me. Without her here, I did not need to act. Did not need to smile. Did not need to pretend nothing had happened. I walked into the kitchen and made coffee. Then sat at the dining table and refreshed the post. It had been pushed to the front page of the forum. Comments were nearly 200. Some accused Serena of plagiarism. Some accused the poster of creating rumors without evidence. Some had started digging into the financing background of Serena's company. I scrolled down and saw a new comment. Posted at 3:47 a.m., I know the person who played that audio. His name is Leo Lin. 3 years ago, he played this song at a musician's gathering. Later, he had a car accident and injured his hand, so he stopped doing music. My hand froze around the coffee cup. Leo Lin. I had heard this name before. 3 years ago, when Serena played me that recording, she had said, "This is written by Leo Lin, but he isn't releasing it. He thinks it isn't good enough." I had not cared then. Now I knew. Serena knew Leo Lin. She took his song. Then played it for me. Then used subconscious influence to make me write something highly similar. Then registered the copyright under her name. 2 fish with 1 hook. She took the melody from Leo. Then took the full arrangement and finished product from me. She had been setting this trap for 3 years. I put down the coffee and sent Ryan a message. Find someone for me. Leo Lin. 3 years ago, car accident, injured hand, stopped doing music. Find where he is now. Ryan replied fast. You know him? The recording Serena played me was his. Ryan sent a string of ellipses. Then, damn. She calculated both you and Leo. Me, so finding Leo means finding evidence. Ryan, understood. I'll start at dawn. I turned off the phone and looked at the brightening sky. Dawn had arrived. And my fight had only just begun. Ryan's message came at 2 in the afternoon. Found him. Leo Lin. 28 this year. Car accident 3 years ago. Comminuted fracture in his right metacarpal. 2 surgeries. Recovery poor. Now works as a tuner at a music shop. Monthly salary, 4,200 yuan. An address followed. I saved the address into my notes and stood to change into a jacket. Serena had come back briefly in the morning. She packed several clothes and said the company had a 3-day business trip. I knew it was not a business trip. She was avoiding the storm. The online controversy around Night Voyage had grown bigger. She needed somewhere to think of a countermeasure. Fine. Without her, I could move more freely. I called a car and went to the address Ryan sent. An old street in the South District. French plane trees lined both sides. Their leaves had begun turning yellow. The music shop was on the first floor of an old building. The sign had faded. 4 words, Yuesheng Music Shop. I pushed the door open. A bell jingled. The shop was dim. 7 or 8 guitars and 2 digital pianos were displayed inside. Behind the counter sat a man with his head lowered, changing strings on an acoustic guitar. He looked up. Thin. Very thin. Sharp facial lines. A clear scar ran along the web between thumb and index finger of his right hand. He looked at me with guarded eyes. Buying a guitar? Looking for someone. I said, "You are Leo Lin?" His hand paused. Then he continued changing strings. "I am. Who are you?" I walked to the counter, opened my phone, found the audio link from the post, and played it. Guitar came from the speaker. Leo's movement stopped completely. He stared at my phone, lips pressed tight. Only after the audio ended did he speak. "Where did you get that?" "Someone posted it on a forum. They said it was saved from a music group 3 years ago." He was silent for a while. Then put down the guitar and sat straighter. "You came just to ask about this?" "No," I said, "I came to align the timeline." Leo looked at me. His eyes changed. "My name is Mason Shen." I said, "I wrote the verse and arrangement of Night Voyage. Serena Sue, my wife, registered the song under her own name. She says the song was written by her." Leo stared at me for 5 seconds. Then he laughed. That smile was faint and bitter. "Serena Sue." He repeated the name. "She came to me too. 3 years ago, she said she could help me release a song. She said my hand was injured and I couldn't play anymore, so I might as well give the song to her. I refused. And then? Then she stopped contacting me." Leo lowered his head and looked at his right hand. "Later, I heard she registered that song. I wanted to sue her. But," he raised his right hand and shook it. "With my hand like this, who would believe me in court? A man whose right hand is ruined saying he wrote a song. Who would believe that?" "I believe you." Leo looked up. "That melody in the audio was written by you, right?" I asked. "Yes. Written 3 years ago. Took me 3 days. I recorded it after playing and thought it wasn't good enough, so I didn't release it. Later, Serena said she wanted to hear it. So I sent it to her." I took a deep breath. "Leo, I need you to help me." "What help?" "I need you to testify in court. That melody was written by you. Not by my wife." Leo looked at me in silence for a long time. "Can you win?" he asked. "Yes." I said, "As long as you testify, I have the full evidence chain." Leo lowered his head and looked at his scarred right hand. "I have waited 3 years for this day." He said, "I'll help you." We exchanged contact information. When I was leaving, Leo called me. "Mason. Do you know what Serena said to me when she came 3 years ago?" "What?" "She said, good songs shouldn't be wasted in the hands of people who don't know how to use them." I stood at the shop entrance and looked back at him. Now she knows who didn't know how to use it. Leo smiled. There was something in that smile I knew well. The relief of finally being answered. I walked out of the shop. Sunlight shone on my face. I narrowed my eyes and looked up. The sky was blue. So blue it looked washed clean. My phone rang. "Ryan. How did it go?" "Found him. He is willing to testify." "Awesome. Now you have original proof for the verse and bridge, the chorus creator's testimony, Serena's chat records, and the copyright registration timeline. Enough. What about the festival?" "The organizer says they checked Night Voyage's copyright and found no temporary issue. But they will keep an eye on public opinion." "What about the way home?" "Schedule unchanged. Next Saturday at 3 p.m. You're 5th. Good." I hung up and walked into the sunlight. Thursday night, I received a text from an unfamiliar number. "Mason, I'm Evan Chen. Can we talk?" I looked at that message and smiled. Evan Chen. Serena's secretary. The one who called me Brother Shen. I replied with one word. "Talk." Evan called directly. "Brother Shen, don't call me brother." I said. "Call me by name." The other end was silent for 2 seconds. "Mason. I know you hate me. But there are some things I think you should know. For example, Serena didn't only take your song. She also took Leo Lynn's song. And 3 other people's, 2 lyricists and 1 arranger. She used the excuse of helping you release songs to trick them into handing over demos. My fingers tightened slightly around the phone. How do you know? Because I helped her organize those files. Evan's voice was hoarse. At first, I didn't know what she was doing. I thought she was really helping those musicians release songs. Only after she registered Night Voyage under her own name did I feel something was wrong. Then why tell me now? Because she wants to push me out to take the blame. Evan said, online people are investigating Night Voyage's copyright dispute. She told me that if it reaches me, I should admit I stole your demo. She gave me 300,000 yuan. I was silent for 2 seconds. You took it? I took it. Evan said. But now I don't want it. I can return the money. I just want what? I just want that after you win, you don't drag me down too. I leaned back and looked at the ceiling. Evan. I said, do one thing for me. After that, I'll keep you out of trouble. What? Send me the chat records where Serena asks you to take the blame. And the contact information for the other 3 musicians whose songs she tricked away. The other side was silent for a long time. Okay. He said. I'll send them. After the call ended, I received a WeChat friend request from Evan. I accepted. Then he sent me a string of screenshots. In the chat, Serena had sent him proof of a 300,000 yuan transfer. She had also sent a voice message. I tapped it. Serena's voice played, Evan, if the copyright issue reaches you, just say you stole Mason's demo. You're only a secretary. They won't do much to you. Take the money first. It's enough for you to spend for a while. When the voice message ended, I stared at the phone for a long time. Then I laughed. Because now I had a trump card. Evidence that Serena had instructed someone to commit perjury. I forwarded it to Ryan. Ryan replied with 4 words, ironclad evidence. Late Thursday night, I sat in the study and organized all evidence again. First, Night Voyage's copyright registration, showing Serena as the copyright owner. Second, my handwritten drafts from 3 years ago, dated page by page. Third, the Night Voyage demo recording from 3 years ago, with timestamp. Fourth, Serena's voice message to Evan, proving she admitted the song was written by me. Fifth, Leo Lynn's testimony, proving the chorus melody was written by him and that Serena obtained the recording from him. Sixth, Serena's transfer record and instructions to Evan, proving she told him to commit perjury. Seventh, contact information of 3 other musicians, proving Serena had a pattern of tricking creators out of their works. I turned off the computer and leaned back, letting out a long breath. Then I picked up the harmonica and played The Way Home once. When I finished, I realized I was smiling. Not proudly. It was the smile of someone finally able to stand upright. My phone vibrated. Ryan, tomorrow is Friday. Rest well. The festival is the day after tomorrow. Court is the day after that. I replied, okay. Then I turned off the phone, lay down, and closed my eyes. That night, I slept deeply. Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock. Music festival venue. I stood backstage, gripping the paper full of lyrics. Sweat had softened the paper slightly. I folded it and put it into my pocket. Then clenched and unclenched my fist. My heartbeat was fast. Outside, the crowd was loud. The stage was built at Riverside Park in the west of the city. Water surrounded it on 3 sides. It faced a broad lawn. At least 2,000 people stood there. Phone screens swayed like a glowing sea. I looked through a gap in the curtain. Serena stood in the front row VIP area. She wore a white suit. Hair pinned up. Makeup flawless. She looked nothing like someone currently being questioned by the entire internet. Beside her stood 2 company executives, holding phones and filming the stage. She did not look panicked at all. Her composure made me want to laugh coldly. The first performer went on stage. A folk song. Plain. The second was a rock band. The drums shook the backstage wall. The third was a girl with a clear voice, singing a love song. Someone in the audience raised glow sticks. When the fourth performer went up, I began warming up. I twisted my wrists. Picked up the harmonica. Put it down. My back was covered in sweat. The shirt stuck to my skin, cold. I inhaled. Exhaled. The fourth performer finished. The host went up. His voice came through the speakers. Next, we have a hidden gem selected from a sea of demos. His name is Mason Shen. He will bring us an original work the way home. Sparse applause sounded. I walked onto the stage. When the lights hit my face, I narrowed my eyes. Then I saw Serena. She was in the first row, looking up at me. Her expression was calm. So calm it seemed like she had a card up her sleeve. I stood before the microphone and lifted the harmonica to my mouth. First, I played an intro. The harmonica sound passed through the speakers and spread across the river. The crowd quieted. Several people raised phones to record. I lowered the harmonica and began to sing. You said the way home is the road back. I said the way home is forgetting where I came from. Before dark, you hid yourself away. After dawn, I pretended I wasn't alone. When I reached the second line, Serena's expression changed. The corner of her mouth pulled downward. She recognized it. Inside this song was a verse progression almost identical to Night Voyage. She had listened to Night Voyage's demo for 3 years. She knew that melody too well. She thought I was still using the old chorus. She thought The Way Home was only a rework of Night Voyage. But when the chorus came, her expression collapsed completely. Because that chorus was entirely different. You said white night is eternal daylight. I said white night is the ending pretending to go on. You said forget when morning comes. I said release it when night falls. Who is better at lying? When I finished the chorus, I saw Serena's fingers tighten around her phone. Her knuckles turned white. The audience started clapping. Someone shouted, "So good." Someone whistled. I did not look at Serena. I kept singing. In the second verse, I added more force. The high notes became slightly hoarse. When I reached the bridge, I picked up the harmonica again and played an improvised solo. That solo had been added only yesterday. Every note was played in the moment. When I finished, the audience completely exploded. Clapping. Screaming. Someone shouted, "Again." I lowered the harmonica and spoke the only sentence I said that entire performance. "This song is for myself." Then I sang the final chorus. When it ended, I put down the harmonica and bowed to the audience. Applause surged toward me like a tide. When I raised my head, my gaze crossed the crowd and landed on Serena's face. Her eyes were red. Not from being moved. From anger. The anger of someone being completely caught off guard. The two executives beside her were clapping. She stood motionless, staring at me like she was looking at someone she did not know at all. When I left the stage, I passed near her. She called me, voice low. "You did that on purpose?" I stopped and turned slightly. "Serena," I said, "I write songs not for you. For myself. You never understood that." She bit her lip and said nothing. I returned backstage. Ryan was already waiting. He lifted his phone and waved it. Recorded. Her expression, I can cut it into a 10-second meme. I smiled. "Court tomorrow. Evidence ready?" "Ready." Ryan patted my shoulder. "Rest tonight. Tomorrow, just watch." The music festival continued. But for me, it was already over. Because I had sung the song I needed to sing. And the person who needed to hear it had heard it. Sunday morning, 9 o'clock. Outside the courthouse. I wore a black shirt. My hair was neatly combed. Ryan stood beside me, holding a file box filled with copies and USB drives. Leo arrived at 9:10. He wore an old jacket. A glove covered his right hand, hiding the scar. He nodded at me and said nothing. He stood beside me. Evan arrived at 9:20. He wore a baseball cap pulled low and hunched his shoulders like a thief. "Don't be nervous," I said. "Just tell the truth." He nodded without speaking. At 9:30, the trial began. Serena sat in the defendant's seat. Beside her sat a lawyer in a dark gray suit and gold-rimmed glasses. He looked very professional. She wore a champagne-colored suit. Her makeup remained exquisite. When she saw me enter the courtroom, she lifted her chin slightly. That expression seemed to say, "I've been waiting for you." I sat in the plaintiff's seat. Ryan sat beside me. The judge struck the gavel. Court opened. Ryan stood and began his statement. "Your Honor, my client, Mason Shen, is an original musician. The defendant, Serena Sue, is the plaintiff's wife and also the legal representative of a music company. Without the plaintiff's consent, the defendant registered the plaintiff's song Night Voyage under her own name at the National Copyright Office. The plaintiff requests that the court revoke the defendant's copyright registration, confirm the plaintiff as the rightful copyright owner of Night Voyage, and hold the defendant liable for infringement. Serena's lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client and the plaintiff are legally married. During the marriage, both parties jointly created the song Night Voyage. The copyright registration was the result of mutual agreement. There is no infringement. This case is a malicious lawsuit filed after the breakdown of a marital relationship. We ask the court to examine carefully. Ryan looked at me. I nodded. He opened the file box and took out the first piece of evidence. These are the plaintiff's handwritten drafts from 3 years ago. Each page has a date and records the full revision process of Night Voyage from first draft to final draft. The lyrics, chords, and arrangement framework in the drafts all match the final work. Defendant, if this was a joint creation, why do all revision notes contain only the plaintiff's handwriting? Serena's lawyer glanced at Serena. Her expression did not change, but the hand gripping her bag tightened. My client, the defendant, can respond during defense. Ryan interrupted him. Now, please examine the second piece of evidence. Ryan took out a USB drive and inserted it into the courtroom playback device. This is the demo recording of Night Voyage. Recorded at 11:43 p.m. on September 17, 3 years ago. The file metadata has already been preserved by a notary office. Defendant, when the plaintiff recorded this demo, what were you doing? Serena spoke. Her voice was steady. I was there. I participated in the arrangement. Which parts did you participate in? The chord progression. The chorus, wait. Ryan turned to the judge. Your Honor, I need to play another audio file first. The judge nodded. Ryan connected his phone to the speaker. The guitar recording played in the courtroom. Leo's melody from 3 years ago. Serena's face changed. This audio, Ryan said, was created by another musician, Leo Lin, 3 years ago. The defendant, Serena Sue, obtained this recording from Leo under the pretext of helping him release it. After that, the defendant played this melody for the plaintiff Mason Shen. This caused the plaintiff, without knowing the original source, to create Night Voyage containing a similar melody. The defendant's real intent was to use the plaintiff's arrangement ability to package another person's melody into a complete song, then seize the copyright under the name of joint creation. The courtroom was silent for 2 seconds. Serena's lawyer stood. Objection. This is malicious speculation. Please allow the evidence to be completed. Ryan remained unmoved. Call witness Leo Lin. Leo stood and walked to the witness seat. He removed the glove from his right hand and placed the scarred hand on the table. My name is Leo Lin. 3 years ago, I created a guitar melody and recorded it. At that time, Serena Sue came to me and said she could help me release the song. Out of trust, I sent the recording to her. After that, I never received any follow-up about this song. Until a few days ago, I learned that the song had been registered under the defendant's name and renamed Night Voyage. Are you certain that melody is your original work? Yes. When I recorded it, I also had lyrics drafts in my phone notes from that same day. The timestamp matches. Ryan presented Leo's phone notes. A date from 3 years ago. A rough lyric line. Serena's lawyer's face turned pale. Ryan took out the third piece of evidence. This is the voice message the defendant sent to witness Evan Chen. Please play it. Serena's voice sounded through the speaker. Evan, if the copyright issue reaches you, just say you stole Mason's demo. You're only a secretary. They won't do much to you. Take the money first. It's enough for you to spend for a while. The courtroom erupted. Serena finally turned pale. Her lawyer stood abruptly. Your Honor, the source of this voice message is questionable. My client, the source is witness Evan Chen's WeChat. Ryan said. It has been notarized and preserved. If the defense questions authenticity, you may request forensic verification. Evan sat in the gallery, head lowered, cap pulled low. The judge struck the gavel. Silence in court. Serena's lawyer sat back down. Sweat began forming on his forehead. Ryan continued. And here is the fourth set of evidence. Written statements from 3 other musicians. They all confirm the defendant used similar methods to obtain their works. Those works have not yet been released, but backups of those demos remain in the defendant's company archives. Ryan submitted the files one by one. Serena sat in the defendant's seat, her back still straight. But I noticed her lips trembling. Her lawyer leaned toward her and whispered something. She shook her head. The movement was small, but firm. Your Honor. Ryan closed the folder. My side's evidence chain is complete. The defendant, Serena Sue, obtained original works from others through deception, used the marital relationship as cover to seize works as her own, and instructed another person to commit perjury. We ask the court to rule according to law. The judge looked at the defendant's seat. Does the defense have anything to state? Serena's lawyer stood and cleared his throat. My client admits that there were certain irregularities in the copyright registration procedure. But, I do not admit that. Serena suddenly spoke. Every gaze turned to her. She stood and looked at the judge. Her voice was not loud, but clear. I admit the verse of Night Voyage was written by Mason. But I provided him with the chorus melody. Without my section, this song would never have taken shape. So the core copyright belongs to me. I simply did not add his name. I sat in the plaintiff's seat, watching her lie in court. Then I spoke. Serena. She looked at me. The melody you gave me belonged to Leo Lynn. Not to you. Every lie you tell in court will be recorded. She bit her lip. Then the judge spoke. Defendant Serena Sue, please state truthfully. Serena stood there for 3 seconds. Then sat down. Her lawyer lowered his head and shook it. The air in the courtroom seemed frozen. After reviewing all evidence, the judge struck the gavel. This court finds that the core melody of Night Voyage was created by non-party Leo Lynn, while the arrangement, verse, and overall structure were independently completed by plaintiff Mason Shen. The defendant, Serena Sue, obtained the above work through deception and performed false copyright registration, infringing upon the lawful rights of the plaintiff and non-party Leo Lynn. The judgment is as follows. First, the defendant Serena Sue's copyright registration for Night Voyage is revoked. Second, the plaintiff Mason Shen and non-party Leo Lynn are confirmed as co-authors of Night Voyage. Third, the defendant Serena Sue shall publish an apology to the plaintiff within 10 days after the judgment becomes effective. Fourth, the defendant Serena Sue shall compensate the plaintiff for economic losses and reasonable enforcement expenses in the total amount of 250,000 yuan. As for the defendant's suspected instruction of perjury, this matter shall be transferred separately to the judicial authorities. The gavel fell. Serena sat in the defendant's seat without moving. I looked at her. She seemed emptied of all strength. Her shoulders collapsed. Her chin no longer lifted. Her lawyer was packing documents, but she only sat there, staring blankly at the table. I stood and gathered my things. When I passed her, she looked up at me. Her eyes were complicated. Unwillingness. Anger. And something else I could not understand. Mason. I stopped. You won once. She said. But that does not mean anything. Serena. I said. The songs I write are better than every song you steal. You heard The Way Home. Those things you took, I can write again. But you can never take anything from me again. She did not speak. I walked out of court. Sunlight warmed my face. Leo waited at the door and extended his left hand, the one without the glove. I shook it. Thank you, he said. Thank me for what? I smiled. The song was yours. But I didn't have the courage to sue her. He said. You did it for me. I patted his shoulder. Write songs from now on. After you finish, send them to me. I'll help you listen. He smiled lightly. Deal. Evan emerged from a corner, cap still low. I'm okay now, right? You're okay. I said. What you did before, I won't pursue. But don't follow people like that again. I won't. He nodded repeatedly. Absolutely not. I walked toward the parking lot. Ryan walked beside me, holding the file box, now half empty. We won the lawsuit. He said. What next? Write songs. I said. Release The Way Home. Then work with Leo to rearrange Night Voyage. Replace the chorus and release it under both our names. What about Serena? Divorce procedures next week. Ryan nodded. Good. Dinner tonight. My treat. Celebrate. Dinner is fine. No alcohol. I'm writing tonight. Ryan looked at me and laughed. You really are a workaholic. I opened the taxi door and looked back once at the courthouse. Serena had not come out yet. But I no longer wanted to wait for her. 1 month later. At night, I sat in my newly rented apartment, facing the computer. A cup of coffee sat on the desk. A harmonica lay beside it. On the wall was a poster, a screenshot of The Way Home on the music charts. My phone vibrated. Ryan, it's out. The Way Home is officially online. Go repost it on Weibo. I opened Weibo and saw the official post. Original musician Mason Shin's first official single The Way Home is now available on all platforms. This song was written on a deep night, dedicated to everyone walking alone on the road home. Click to listen. The comments had already passed 1,000. First comment, I heard this at the music festival and fell instantly. Finally online. Second, the chorus is addictive. I've looped it 20 times. Third, who is Mason Shin? Never heard of him before. Fourth, replying to the third, search the Night Voyage copyright case. He absolutely crushed his ex-wife. I smiled. Then I opened one person's Weibo. Serena Sue. Her latest post was from 2 weeks ago. A company announcement image. Caption, thank you all for your continued support. The comments section had exploded. Plagiarism queen, get out of music. Have you heard your ex-husband's new song? Heard even your songs were stolen. Can your company still operate? Serena Sue, aren't you disgusted with yourself? I did not comment. I turned off Weibo and opened a document. Created a new folder. New album. The Way Home was only the beginning. I wanted to write a whole album. About the 5 years stolen from me. About everything I thought was worth it, only to find it empty at the end. About night train platforms. Streets before dawn. A rented apartment for one person. Then I would sing it for everyone. My phone vibrated again. This time, it was Leo. The new arrangement for Night Voyage is done. I tried several chord progressions. Listen and see if this feels right. He sent a recording. I put on earphones and played it. Guitar sounded in my ears. Clean. Warm. Completely different from the old chorus. That was the new melody I had written. A song that belonged to the two of us. I listened once and replied, sounds good. Use this version. Leo sent back a smile. I put down the phone and took a sip of coffee. It had gone cold. I did not care. I looked out the window. The city night spread before my eyes. Light stretched endlessly, like a road home with no end. The glass reflected my face. There was a faint smile at the corner of my mouth. I picked up the harmonica and played an improvised melody. Then I opened the recording app and pressed, new recording. Because the story was not over. I had only just begun writing the next song. That's all for today's story. Remember to subscribe and leave a comment.